What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So, as of late, you know, I've talked with several people about, many different subjects. And one thing that I've kind of fell upon with a lot of people nowadays is that everybody has an excuse for something. There's always some kind of excuse as to why they can't do something. And I have noticed that that has become a mainstay in modern society right now, is where people are constantly making excuses for every unwanted or bad outcome that happens in their life. And my outlook on excuses are this: some things in life hit you in the face, you can't help it, right? You just have to persevere, you have to be rigid, and you have to fight through it. And that's life for everybody. And then sometimes things happen to you because it's your own fault, right? And so if it's your own fault, then, you have to take accountability for that. That's a part of being a winner, is taking accountability when you're at fault for your own problems and being able to overcome your faults and your weaknesses. Everybody makes mistakes, and being able to overcome those mistakes is what's going to get you through life. Every skyscraper that's ever been built, every ship, every airplane, how many times did somebody have to fail before they figured that out to just stack steel, 150 stories high, or make a, 500,000 ton ship float in an ocean? How many times did somebody have to fail for that? So you got to understand that excuses, trying and moving forward and getting up, but excuses is terrible, guys. I mean, that's where you have to know that an excuse is not going to get you anywhere. If you smoke cigarettes for 20 years, or if you drink alcohol for 30 years, if you beat on your body, and your body's falling apart around you, you can always say, well, I smoked those cigarettes because everybody was stressing me out, and I needed that cigarette to get me through a day, and needed it the next day, and it was always something. And then 20 years when you've got COPD and you're laying in your deathbed and they got a ventilator hooked to you and all your loved ones are standing around your bed, they don't care why you smoke cigarettes and put yourself in that position to where now you're going to leave this earth, and and it's nobody's fault but your own. All the excuses in the world doesn't change the outcome, that you're going to die prematurely. Same thing with drinking alcohol. If you drink alcohol every single day, 20 pack, 15 pack, 12 pack, whatever you drink, and your liver dries up, man, and it's hard as a rock, and you've got, jaundice and cirrhosis and all this other stuff, and you're laying on your deathbed, and nobody's going to care why you drink. They're just going to know that you did drink, and that now you're dying as a consequence of that. So excuses, guys, are only good for the short term. That gets, people's trying to hold you accountable for your actions, or hold you accountable for what's going on. Excuses only get you through that little moment in time. In the long run, they don't really do anything. So, and I'm not oblivious to this myself. I make excuses sometimes. I have to catch myself making excuses for stuff. I all the time, will do something that maybe, I don't do nothing major intentionally, but sometimes I do little minor stuff around the house or something that, maybe, I didn't think was the best way to do something. And then when the result is not what I want, I'll make an excuse to why it happens, and, a certain way. And I'm mad at myself, idiot, why'd you do it like that? Why didn't you just take the extra 20 minutes to do it the right way? So nowadays I really give it a good shot, and I'd really try hard to not have an excuse for everything. Now, like I said, guys, sometimes life punches you right in the mouth. Life will punch you right in the mouth, and you're just like, what in the world? And it's really not your fault that things happen the way they happen sometimes, but it's your responsibility to come out of it because it happened to you. And what are you going to do about it? Life You got to think of life like a 12 round prize fighter, 15 round prize fighter, right? And you're in the ring and you've got two choices. You either fight that prize fighter or you lay down and get beat. Either way, life is going to sling it at you, buddy. Life is going to try to beat you down every minute of every day, of every waking moment, even sleeping, guys. Life will beat you down. So you either fight or you lay down and you either lay down and get beat. And I heard a quote one time where a guy was like, you only have one life. And I don't mean that this YOLO movement, this YOLO movement, just to get off on a little tangent here, this YOLO movement's retarded. Do not think that you only live your life once, so I can just go do whatever I want and have no consequences. No, that is not what I'm talking about here. But this guy said, you only have one life, so get busy living or get busy dying. That kind of hit me in the heart a little bit, because it was like, he's right. You've got one life. Either you live it and you give it everything you've got, and you be a good person, and you impact the people around you, and you try to be a positive influence on those people, and you try to help people, and you try to look out for them, unselfishly, unconditionally, just try to be there for them. I mean, I know, guys, that's hard because everybody wants to give and take now. And I believe that in relationships with people, romantic, friendships, whatever, business, whatever, you got to have some give and some take. You got to be able to work it out between the two of you. But, when it comes to being a good person, a lot of times you're going to have to stand alone and do what's right. A lot of times you're going to have to stand above and be better than you were yesterday, and try to bring the people up around you. If you make the next level, don't be scared to reach down and pull the man below you up, And if he climbs over top of you and gets the next level and doesn't help you, then, that's fine. But you did your part. You did your part. Now, are there people out there, who will take advantage of that? Sure. There's plenty of people out there who take advantage of that. But you can't have excuses. So if I help somebody, if I move up to the next level and I level up and I reach down and pull somebody up, and then, they're on my level and then they surpass me, I'm happy for them. If they walked over top of me to get there, then I learned my lesson. So you always got to really try hard to look at a positive stance on things. And I know that's really hard. I know life just sometimes isn't positive, and sometimes life is hard. Guys, I've been in situations where it seemed like every aspect of my life, every aspect was falling apart around me. And I'm just like, don't know which problem to solve first. Where do I go? What do I do? And I just, put my faith in, that the dots are going to connect that in the future for me. That's what I put my faith in, guys. I just know in my heart that the dots have to connect for me in the future. And I have to just put my head down and fight that prize fighter at the other end of the ring. Life is not going to put me down on the ground and kick the shit out of me until I'm broken. It's not going to do it. I'm going to fight and fight and fight and fight and fight until the very bloody death end. I'm laying on my deathbed. My people are going to be around me. They're going to be weeping, but I'm going to tell them to not cry. Don't cry, because I lived my life how I wanted to live it. I fought every single day. I had ups and downs, but I never gave up. And that's what I feel like life is all about, guys. Being rich and being famous and being all this, all that means nothing. But being able to, look back on your life and have minimal regrets, and, have, the ability to say, I was a grown man, I was a grown woman, and I did what I needed to do in life. I made my impacts, and, and be content with that. And, excuses, or, people, like I said, the excuses part of it, man, where people just make an excuse for everything, I don't, I didn't make it to work because my car is old and blown up and stuff, or, I wasn't able to go get my kids because I didn't feel good, or whatever the deal is, man. There's always an excuse. Now, sometimes, like I said, life circumstances hit you, but guys, you can't just make an excuse for everything. Everything can't be about transferring the blame somewhere else, because at the end of the day, your results in your life are your responsibility to obtain. And if you don't take that responsibility by the horns, you're going to fail. All right. And that's another thing about life. Don't be afraid to fail, guys. Failing and having hard times is what defines us. You know, a winner, a person who is madly successful, that person, you don't know how many times they failed to get to that point. You know, and it's like, you know, you say, well, there's billionaires out there who inherit billions, and his daddy inherited billions, his daddy inherited billions. Yeah, that might be true. But you know what? Somewhere along that line, somebody had to step out into the darkness and the unknown and get that first billion. You know, somebody had to break that cycle and do that. So there's no excuse for you guys, man. There's no excuse for not being a success in life. Being successful in life is about your perseverance, your inner strength, your heart and desire, and being able to overcome your adversities, stand strong and rigid, you know, take the hits, get beat down, do what you got to do, man. If you got to cry it out, if you've got to talk to somebody, if you've got to, you know, just go running, get in the gym, whatever you got to do to vent them negative emotions out, do it, you know. But at the end of the day, don't let them control you and dominate you, because that's what really gets you in the pickles, is because, you know, life will beat you down. It'll kick you while you're down. It'll keep you down, and then it'll break you. And then once you're broken, there's no, you know, it's really hard to come back from broken. And trust me, guys, it's, you know, I seen this quote one time that said, if everybody threw their problems out on the ground for everybody else to see, you'd probably pick your troubles up pretty quick and keep right on getting it. You know, because you don't know what the next person's dealing with. You don't know the anguish and heartache that person's dealing with, or the problems or the addictions or whatever have you that's going on in their life. You don't know nothing about people, and you don't know what kind of burdens they're bearing. So that's why I say every day, man, you know, try to be good to people, try to treat them right, you know, be courteous, be polite, be nice. And we can just one at a time make this world a better place, guys. But we just got to quit making excuses for every little thing that goes wrong in our life, everything that goes negative, every little thing that doesn't give us a positive outlook or a positive feeling, or because you're not going to be positive all the time. And your failures in life are yours to bear. So stop making excuses, guys. Stop making excuses. There's no reason for it. You just pick yourself up, put yourself back together, and keep fighting and keep going and keep struggling if that's what you're doing, you know, but keep doing it, because eventually the struggles are going to be over. You know, problems aren't here to stay. Problems they come and go. They, you know, and, you know, if you solve enough problems, you get to succeed, right? It's like that movie, The Martian. The guy said, you know, you solve one problem, then you solve the next problem, then you solve the next problem. And if you solve enough problems, you get to go home. That's the same thing in life, guys. One thing at a time, one pants leg at a time. You know, do what you got to do. If you got to slow it down. But do not give up on your life. Do not allow yourself to fall into a muck and mire of self-loathing and regret, and have an excuse for every little thing. Pick yourself up, motivate yourself, get out there, fight for what you think you desire or what you believe you deserve, and put in the effort to get there. So if you like this content, guys, please like, comment, subscribe, and we'll talk to you next time.